Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Andy, and welcome to this week's Team Kentucky Update. We have some great news on economic development to begin with today. The Kentucky Economic Development Finance Authority today approved state incentives for 12 projects that signify roughly $450 million of new investment in Kentucky and more than 400 full-time jobs for Kentuckians, including these projects announced today. Administration to date, we've created $26.8 billion of new investment in Kentucky and more than 47,000 new full-time jobs for Kentuckians, and we continue to grow. As we look into the future, we also have approval of 5 site and building project development projects for over $3.4 million in state funding. With today's approvals, we have some great announcements. I'll kick us off with a company that's creating 78 new full-time jobs for Kentuckians, and that's Thai Summit Kentucky Corporation, or TSK, which is expanding its Kentucky presence with a $131 million investment in Bardstown. The Thailand-based metal stamping company provides products for a range of automotive manufacturers, and this project will support Ford, Stellantis, Tesla, and Rivian. The company's facilities in Kentucky and Michigan provide its customers with world-class engineering, stamping, and assembly capabilities, as well as tool and die design, construction, modification, and refurbishment. TSK will more than double its current manufacturing footprint in Bardstown from 200,000 square feet to well over 520,000 square feet. I want to congratulate the company on this great expansion in Nelson County and thank its leadership. We love expansions, because it means we've already proven that we can get the job done and are an important asset to the company. I'd now like to welcome Kanishka Ghosh, Executive Manager of Administration, Treasurer, and Secretary of TSK, as well as Ed Phillips, Director of Operations, to come up and brag on your company.
Thank you so much, Governor.
Thank you. We're very grateful.
Yeah, thank you.
Please.
Thank you very much, Governor, for the opportunity. I think it's a great opportunity for Thai Summit and allowing us to share the platform with you. First of all, I would like to thank the team. They have done an incredible job in terms of supporting our expansion. Thai Summit Group is a global automotive supplier out of Thailand. Our guiding philosophy since the beginning of the inception, 1977, has been before we build parts, we build people. And that's the reason why we came into the US. Back in 2016, when we came in, we always look for the choice of investment. And Kentucky was the investment choice for us because of 2 reasons. One is the labor pool, and second is the investment-friendly climate. That's the reason why we invested $110 million back then and invested in 200,000 square foot facility. There has been tremendous growth. We have doubled our growth since then. And today, we are delighted to announce our investment of $131 million, doubling our footprint, and also we expect our growth to triple within the next 5 years. Thank you, Governor, for the opportunity, and thank you for attracting EV investments in the US and in this state, because that's surely give us windfall gains. So finally, thank you, Governor. And as we say in Thai, kapun krap, that's thank you in Thai.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Go ahead. Yeah, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Ed Phillips, and I'm the Director of Manufacturing Operations, as the Governor said. I am a tool and die maker that has came up the ranks through over 30 years, and I've traveled all around the country. And landing here in Kentucky over 4 years ago and having this opportunity to work with this team, I can tell you that the driving success that's going on in Bardstown is directly from that workforce. They are great workers, and I encourage anybody to explore Kentucky when you're looking for a new opportunity. I'll refer to my catchphrase with Kenny, and that is before we build parts, we build people. And what we've done is we've produced over 10 apprentices through our tool and die program and over 12 maintenance technicians. So all you moms and dads out there who are looking for your kids to have a career, send them our way, and we're fully funding their education and paying them while they're doing it. So I appreciate everybody's time. I look forward to the growth and all the opportunities that come from you. So thank you very much, and have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Grateful for the investment.
Thank you.
Wow. What a great start to the update. What a great commercial for Kentucky, and very excited about this additional investment. I also want to highlight a project that is creating over 140 new jobs in Boone County. Matrix Pack North America is a manufacturer of sustainable and environmentally conscious paper products that replace single-use plastics in the food service markets of the United States and Canada. The company is set to locate a new 100,000 square foot facility behind a $47.9 million investment in northern Kentucky to meet the growing demand for paper straws, lids, cutlery, and to-go containers. Construction is expected to begin in October of this year and be completed by June of 2024. Matrix Pack North America was founded in late 2022, and the company is now embarking on a journey to become one of the nation's leading green paper product manufacturers. I want to congratulate the leadership at Matrix Pack North America on their recent success and thank them for choosing to grow and invest in the northern Kentucky region. We also saw some high-tech growth in the Commonwealth today as leaders of Being AI Corporation, a cutting-edge artificial intelligence company, have announced plans to locate the company's new U.S. headquarters in the Western Kentucky University Innovation Campus in Bowling Green. This is now the second announcement that we've had that is coming to this innovation campus. So congratulations to all the good work at WKU. This company is investing nearly $3 million in creating 28 high-wage Kentucky jobs over 3 phases in the coming years. The new headquarters will serve the company's Center for Creative Development and Immersive Experiences, including 3D character design and development. It will foster learning and wellness-focused content, services, and experiences in collaboration with content creators, service providers, and AR/VR/immersive experience designers. The company was one of 5 global AI startup finalists in last year's SXSW Pitch Competition, which is a featured showcase, even highlighting some of the most innovative startup companies in the world. I want to congratulate Being AI on their new headquarters and thank the company for choosing Kentucky to plant roots. We also approved a number of other projects today that we will be putting news out on soon, including another dynamite expansion in northern Kentucky, just waiting on the companies to finalize the releases to be able to show all of the additional jobs that were approved today, and thank those companies individually for bringing more opportunity to our families, more security to our individuals, and more hope and more opportunity for the future. Over the past few months, we've also announced approvals in the initial round of the KPDI, or Kentucky Product Development Initiative program, rolling out over $20 million in state funding for nearly 40 site and building development projects around the state. These numbers include 5 projects that were approved today for over $3.4 million in state funding. These projects are in Bracken, Fleming, Hopkins, and Pulaski counties. And then there's a regional project, which you see in the light blue, in Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan counties. Bracken County will be improving water lines on property within the Bracken County Industrial Park. Fleming County is assisting in site preparation of a build-ready pad and road improvements at their industrial park. Hopkins County is transforming 72 acres on Rose Creek Road into the largest shovel-ready site in the county. Pulaski County is performing infrastructure extensions, site preparation, and road improvements to attract industry. And then the regional Menifee, Morgan, and Rowan counties are performing infrastructure improvements to attract industry at the MMRC Regional Industrial Park. All right, from last month's KEDFA meeting, we have a company that just this week already broke ground on a $16.8 million expansion and relocation in Morgantown, and it's going to create 72 new full-time jobs. Aerospace Composite Solutions, formerly known as Blackhawk Composites, is a leading comprehensive composite design and manufacturing company focused on boosting aircraft performance and capabilities. The company's services include design support, prototype creation, manufacture, and certification of composite components. Composites are lighter, stronger, and more durable than standard aerospace and high-performance industry materials, offering opportunities for increased performance, strength, and payload with reduced maintenance costs. For more than a decade, ACS has been located at 404 West Morrison Street in Morgantown. While the facilities serve the company well, their growth projections for the next 12 to 18 months require a larger facility. So the company plans to build a new 150,000 square foot facility in the Morgantown Industrial Park. The site was the first build-ready certified location in Morgantown. So these certifications work. This PDI program works. You look at the Osmondson in Graves County. That was the first PDI project we put out there. This is us making sure we continue to invest to create good sites in Kentucky. You know, we've been blessed, absolutely blessed with the 2 best years of economic development. I believe we're in our 3rd. But what that means is so many of our mature, developed sites that already have the power, the water, the road, the rail, if necessary, the river. So many of those have been taken. This is us investing in the future, like we did at that Glendale site for about a decade after we had secured most of the land. And look at what it's doing now. It's the home to Blue Oval, the largest investment in the history of the Commonwealth. This is paying it forward, and it's paying off. It's a good program. It was a compromise between the executive and the legislative branch, and it's working everywhere. Remember, these are competitive grants. But we are seeing them all over the state. I also want to highlight an exciting project taking place on Perry, Knott, and Breathitt County lines that involves a company that the state has partnered with recently, Rivian Automotive. On Tuesday, my senior advisor, Rocky Atkins, was in Knott County as Rivian announced they've signed a power purchase agreement with the Nature Conservancy and Bright Night, a global renewable power producer. The agreement includes 100 megawatts of renewable power from the company's new $1 billion, 800 megawatt Bright Night Starfire Renewable Energy Center, which is being constructed on Starfire Mine. That's right. We have a $1 billion project in eastern Kentucky being built on the former site of a coal mine. Once complete, the operation's 800 megawatt capacity will be enough electricity to power over 170,000 households per year. And that's important because one of our high ground sites is right underneath it and will be powered along with Rivian and others through this project. It'll also be the largest renewable power project in Kentucky and one of the largest in the nation to be built on former mine lands, representing $1 billion of infrastructure investment. I want to congratulate Rivian on this new partnership. It showcases how Kentucky is working to create jobs in every industry. All right, as a quick update on I-64 at the Sherman-Minton Bridge in Louisville. As part of the Sherman-Minton renewal, that is an ongoing major rehabilitation and painting project that both Indiana and Kentucky have been working on. Late last night, early into the morning, engineers working for both the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and Indiana Department of Transportation, while conducting detailed inspections, determined that there were major concerns and that repairs would need to be made. They therefore closed the upper and lower decks of the bridge late last night into the morning after construction crews identified a component of the approach bridge that is in need of repairs. Direction has been issued for travelers to please use alternative routes and designated detours, which can be found on the ShermanMintonRenewal.com. Listen, it's important that we found this issue. We do not believe that this is anywhere near the level of what happened on the Brent Spence Bridge and that major explosion and collision that was there. We hope that at least single lanes will be open in the next couple of days. Officials are working diligently to reopen the bridge as quickly as possible. Listen, we want you to be safe. We want you to get where you're going. And while we're never happy if it takes 20 or 30 more minutes and you have to use an alternative route, we never want you crossing over an unsafe bridge. So everybody is hard at work. This was a joint decision by both Indiana and Kentucky. Both transportation cabinets believe that it's necessary, and we are going to work as fast as we can to get it opened, reopened, and we hope fully reopened. So again, we believe it'll be much quicker than others in recent history, much quicker certainly than the Sherman-Minton closure in 2011. and much quicker than the Brent Spence crash that we had. All right, how about some good news about Kentucky's drinking water? In a recent J.D. Power survey in which customers across the nation were asked to rate their drinking water provider on taste and reliability, Kentucky finished number one in the country. 437 Kentuckians across the Commonwealth answered 15 survey questions about their water's taste and their system's reliability, and their responses gave the state's water an 8 out of 10 ranking. This is terrific news and shows the progress water utilities and our own Department of Water had made in providing reliable and better tasting water to consumers. Good tasting drinking water that is also healthy is vitally important to our families, and we've made it a priority. Since 2019, we've steered more than $15 million through the Energy and Environment Cabinet for drinking water improvements. About $9 million of that has come from the AMLR grants. The Team Kentucky Cleaner Water Program is providing nearly $500 million of grants, some of those dollars to each and every county. Everyone was included in 2 separate rounds across the state to provide more reliable drinking water and sewer systems. Access to clean drinking water is a basic human right, and we're going to continue to make sure that we invest until every single Kentuckian can turn on that tap and have that reliable and safe source of drinking water. All right, today we're also taking another step forward as we approach the opening of sports betting. We are 42 days away from the first day that Kentuckians can place a legal bet on sporting events. 42 days from September 7th, where retail locations can open, followed by mobile applications on Thursday, September 28th. The countdown is on. Sports betting will be here just in time for the NFL kickoff, tailgating, and college football season. For years, I pushed to get this passed, and I continue to thank the bipartisan support we had in getting it through this year. There are so many reasons this is going to benefit our state. It means more dollars for our pensions, for hardworking law enforcement, for teachers, firefighters, and public servants. These are investments that we all want, and those hardworking individuals deserve. Since the legislation passed, the Kentucky Horse Racing Commission has been hard at work making sure we get this right. That's why today I am pleased to have signed an emergency regulation to begin the process of administering the Kentucky Problem Gambling Assistance Account. This regulation establishes the process for providing funds from this account to support agencies, groups, organizations, and persons that are best able to help those that experience problem gambling. The funds can also be used to promote public awareness and education to reduce and prevent problem gaming and pay for the costs associated with treatment and recovery. Today's actions complement the executive order I signed recently, creating the Sports Wagering Advisory Council. That council will assist us in carrying out the requirements we have under the law and supporting the integrity of sports betting. I really want to thank the people of the Commonwealth. It was the people demanding that we get sports betting, that sports betting finally be passed, that has us just 42 days from its starting. Today marks the 70th anniversary of the Korean War armistice, July 27th, 1953, which officially ended the war. 1.8 million American men and women served in the Korean War, and an estimated 54,700 from the Commonwealth of Kentucky. According to VA statistics, we currently have 13,824 Korean War veterans living in Kentucky. We want to recognize and give thanks to our Korean War veterans today for their courage and their sacrifices in defense of our Commonwealth and our nation. Roughly 54,200 Americans made the ultimate sacrifice during the period of hostility, July 27, 1950 to June 27, 1950 to July 27, 1953. There have been 131 recipients of the Congressional Medal of Honor among Korean War veterans. Per the National Archives, the Armistice Agreement is historically different in that it was signed not by nations but by military commanders, so it's viewed as a military document. According to the Defense POW MIA Accounting Agency records, there are still 8,157 total missing and 7,494 total unaccounted for. Of this total, there's still 183 Kentuckians missing in action from that war. We have several Korean War veterans residing in our Kentucky Veterans Centers, like U.S. Army Private First Class James Atkins, Armory Foreman, U.S. Marine Corps Private First Class William Dunn, U.S. Air Force Hansel Thompson, Power Plant Operator, U.S. Navy Second Class Steward's Mate Lambert Hughes, Boiler Operator 2, and many more. I want to thank our veterans, let them know how much they mean to us, and specifically today, thank the veterans that served in the Korean War. All right, today being the 1 year anniversary of the flooding in eastern Kentucky, I started my day in Floyd County, announcing 2 new housing sites in Prestonsburg that will serve survivors of the flooding from 2022 and also flooding they had in 2021. It's 2 different sites, I believe 34 new homes, all the utilities right there. We expect that construction can begin quickly. I was able to present $2 million of CDBG funds to acquire that land and to start this process. As we move forward, we're going to see more than just single homes coming up. To date, over 300 homes that have either been restored or mucked out or built that families are in. But we're about to take that leap, especially in these high ground communities where we won't just be building homes, we will be building neighborhoods. Tomorrow, I will be in Knott, Letcher, and Perry counties. In Letcher, we will join the community at Growing Home Community Revival Luncheon. In Knott, I'm going to join local officials and community leaders to announce a new step, a big step, to provide housing for flood survivors in Knott County. And then we'll present funding for road and quality of life improvements in Knott, Leslie, Letcher, and Perry counties. Then in Perry County, we will provide updates on the progress of Skyview. That is one of the new high ground communities, and present funding to develop recreational facilities, support local nonprofits, and improve infrastructure. We made a promise that we would be there every day to restore every building and repair every life. But our commitment shouldn't be rebuilding, it should be revitalization. Building back in a way that stops the depopulation of eastern Kentucky, that brings more jobs and other opportunities, that lets us re-envision what a community can look like and address some of the impediment or obstacles that have afflicted the region for too long. I want to thank all the local leaders. Doesn't matter what party they're in, doesn't matter what level of state, county, or local government they're in. This last year has been all of us working together every day, pushing everything else aside, and I'm really grateful for your hard work. From hugging survivors that very first day, when literally all they had were the clothes on their back, to comforting those that had lost, to standing in Knott County at the site where those kids were washed away. I want to thank everybody for everything they've done, being the good neighbors that we are, living out the golden rule, being there for one another over this past year. Remember, this is the toughest rebuild, I believe, in the history of the United States. But it's happened to the very toughest of people. And if you are still recovering, know you are not alone. It's going to take us time. And I'm sure for you, it's taken way too long. I understand that. But we're going to be there. We're going to make sure that we get the job done, no matter how many days, weeks, months, or years that it takes. We're going to get people not only back up on their feet, but moving forward. A few quick updates this week. We're down to 79 total travel trailers that are occupied, 72 at commercial locations, 7 on private sites, now down to 200 individuals. Remember, we had over 1,000 at our height, so those are a lot of people that have found more stable, medium, or long-term housing. We still have 2 individuals sheltering in 1 hotel. We have no individuals in state parks due to that flooding. Travel trailers. We are now, as we come out of the period of highest need, we are finding second lives or important uses for these travel trailers. For instance, some of our local health departments have needed extra space, have needed mobile units, and we are finding ways to provide these travel trailers to them for their good use. So in one example, in response to the flooding in western Kentucky on July 19th, Kentucky Emergency Management is assisting existing disaster recovery groups by deploying some of our lightly used travel trailer units that were previously used after the western Kentucky tornadoes and then the Eastern Kentucky flooding. The Commonwealth will be donating 12 units to Camp Graves, a nonprofit organization in Western Kentucky that provides disaster relief and temporary interim housing for victims of disaster or displacement. Camp Graves provides educational opportunities, supportive resources, job, and life skills classes to empower individuals to obtain and maintain financial independence and housing stability. Camp Graves is going to use the donated units as part of disaster preparedness efforts for Graves and the surrounding counties. Initially, they're going to be used to provide crucial short-term housing to the families impacted. And then the Commonwealth is proud to ensure resources used in Kentucky will continue to serve their citizens. Thus far, we've provided 42 travel trailers to 10 local governments that have important uses for them, and 18 travel trailers to 2 state agencies. Other requests are in process. Now we have some other good news for families in Eastern and Western Kentucky. We just released the Notice of Funding Availability for the Rural Housing Trust Fund Disaster Recovery for single-family homes in disaster-designated counties of Eastern and Western Kentucky. That's a mouthful. What it means is that $10 million will be available through this fund, in addition to other things, for rebuilding in Eastern Kentucky, and $5 million will be available for Western Kentucky communities. This is a total of $15 million in funding that will go towards helping existing homeowners ensure their housing is disaster resilient, affordable, and sustainable over time, as well as bring new homes to families in need. Another $5 million will be available later this year to rebuild rental homes in Western Kentucky. That's a need that we've identified that is out there, that has been a challenge as we've gone. These are dollars, this $5 million to Western Kentucky that's going to help in that sector. We anticipate 2 rounds of funding will be offered based on available funds. The first round will close at the end of the day on September 1st. Awardees of this round of funding will be announced in early October. Second round is expected to open September 18th and close on October 27th. Awardees of this round will be announced in mid-December. The funding will be administered by the Kentucky Housing Corporation. This is similar to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that they have. It was just separately created by the General Assembly to help these 2 areas. So there are a lot of organizations that work regularly with them that provide matching or other funds. It's meant to bring in a lot of other private sector dollars and spur these investments. The funding, eligible applicants for the funding include nonprofit housing organizations, local governments, private for-profit developers, and businesses that undertake the construction or rehabilitation of rural housing units for moderate income individuals, and public housing authorities. All applicants will need to review the notice of funding available on the KHC Partner Portal at kyhmis.zendesk.com. All right, in February, several communities across the Commonwealth experienced a variety of severe weather that led to 16 counties and 3 cities declaring a state of emergency due to damages brought by the storm. The Federal Emergency Management Agency issued a major disaster declaration May 9th, enabling us to request federal funding for recovery. And we got some good news. We just learned that the U.S. Department of Labor has approved Kentucky for an initial award of $6.6 million. The funding allows us to provide people with temporary jobs, removing debris, and delivering assistance in Bell, Carter, Elliott, Harlan, Lawrence, Morgan, and Powell counties. The funding will also provide employment and training services to eligible individuals in the affected communities. This is a good step forward in our mission to recover not just from the biggest of natural disasters, but knowing that you as an individual can be impacted even when it's not the Western Kentucky tornadoes or the Eastern Kentucky flooding. If it impacts you, it's still hard. And we want to make sure we are there to help when you need it the most. All right, it would not be a Team Kentucky update, or for that matter, any of my press conferences without talking about the weather. It's going to be dangerously hot today and Friday. Could we put up the graphic, James? Temperatures are expected to top out in the mid to upper 90s Thursday and the upper 90s to around 100 degrees on Friday for large parts of our state, though Friday ought to have a little less humidity. We're still working on it? All right. Heat index values will range, here we go, from 105 to 115 on Thursday. and 105 to 110 on Friday. Listen, take precaution, drink plenty of water. Excessive heat ends up causing death. It does around not just the Commonwealth, but around the country. So Thursday and Friday is going to be very hot. Saturday, the areas change a little bit. We're not impacted by as much of it on Saturday, but everybody, like we always say, be weather aware, be careful. We need people to be just as careful for the extreme heat that we're seeing as you have been in some of the most recent weather episodes. All right. On August 1st, applications for the Federal Violence Against Women Act Formula Grant Program will open. This year, we're anticipating a little over $2.2 million. Domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, and stalking are things that no one should ever have to go through, but we know they happen. They create lasting trauma to those who endure them. And those who suffer from these events deserve all the help and all the resources that we can give them. And this federal funding allows us to increase access to critical services. Since taking office, my administration has awarded more than $104 million in grant funding to victim service agencies across Kentucky. This year's VAWA funding is a part of what's expected to be $27 million. I encourage eligible organizations and local programs to apply for this funding through the Justice and Public Safety Cabinet's electronic grants management system. And if you do this work, if you're a domestic violence shelter, a rape crisis center, a child advocacy center, thank you for what you do. Thank you for trying to bring healing to our people. Thank you for providing safety to them. All right. And finally, our Team Kentucky All-Stars. We got a lot of sports teams or individuals today. First up, the Lexington Little League, which became the Kentucky State Champions last week. The players and coaches of this team have been working hard, and now they're headed to the Little League Regional Championships. This is the first time a Lexington team has made it this far since 2017, and we are proud of them. The best news is everyone can cheer them on. They're going to be on ESPN+. That's pretty amazing. On Sunday, August 6th at 4 p.m. I've never been on ESPN+, so good for these kids. If they win, they could become the first Lexington team to reach Williamsport, Pennsylvania in 70 years for the Little League World Series. Next, we have some talented lacrosse players to celebrate. This past weekend, the best lacrosse players in the world joined together in Louisville for the premier Lacrosse League All-Star Game. It was an exciting weekend, and we hope to have professional lacrosse back in Kentucky. So we're asking folks to help make that happen. If you visit the website on the screen, you can vote for Louisville to get a premier lacrosse team in 2024. Finally, we are honoring Savannah DeMello of Racing Louisville FC soccer team on making the United States women's national soccer team roster for the 2023 World Cup Series. Savannah's making us proud on the world stage, and even more important, on a team that continues to show the world just how talented and strong our female athletes are. Savannah, good luck. Team Kentucky is cheering you on. All these athletes worked so hard. Congratulations on being Team Kentucky All-Stars. We have an update? Okay. Okay, we are having some technical issues on our end, so I believe we have a couple questions from journalists here, and then I have written questions from those that were going to be on the line. All right, Tom?
Thank you, Governor. Good afternoon to you. Over the last several weeks, we've had some serious air issues with the Canadian wildfires and what have you. And I noticed that while the Louisville Metro air pollution issues warnings for that, Ohio issues them for the three counties of northern Kentucky. Nashville issues them for Christian County in that area, but the Kentucky Division of Air Quality, not a word. Why is that?
I'll need to check on that. I don't know if it's being done out of the weather service
The Weather
areas.
Service,
Yeah.
Gets those and then sends them out, but I've seen nothing from the agency nor
Yeah.
the Weather Service.
Well, I know we commented on the Louisville area because we were looking at being entertainment, and that would change some of the regulations that the EPA has, and that's had to be paused through no fault of our own because of Canadian wildfires. But let me get you an answer on that. So, you have one today? Yeah. Yeah, Sarah, nice to see you.
So for the problem gaming fund, about how much money are we expecting from that, and how will it be divided between helping people already affected by gambling and the public?
So this is part of the statute that was passed. I believe it has a formula amount that is within the statute that we'll get to you that goes into that fund. It's required that we set it up and administer it, and I don't think that it will be limited to those that develop a problem in the future. I think it's meant to try to, number one, prevent it from starting, right? To make this entertainment. And to encourage people to only bet what they have and what they can enjoy, and not to go too far. But what we see is that there may be people out there that are already suffering that would get help from this. I think it's intended both to provide help to those that are suffering, and for the prevention and education side as well. We want to do this as safely as we can, and a bunch of other states have already done it, so we're not reinventing the wheel. The other issue that we have right now is we have people that probably have this issue and are simply able to just drive over one of our borders, right? Make that bet, but not necessarily get the help that they might need. Certainly, this brings it into our mainstream with an ability to provide those services. And what we see is, oftentimes in the private sector, they can identify, through their data where some of those concerns are and help us to reach out to those in need. All right. From John Cheeves, Kentucky has the second largest backlog of nursing home inspections in the country and the highest vacancy rate for nursing home inspectors. Serious problems go undetected because several years pass between standard surveys that are supposed to happen annually. Every state went through the pandemic. Every state has a nurse shortage. Why is the backlog so much worse in Kentucky, and when will it be eliminated? First, I think John pointed out there that the pandemic impacted this everywhere. And everyone fell behind on these surveys. Everyone is also suffering from staffing shortages, but what we have seen in Kentucky was that the elimination of pensions for new hires years ago, with years of no increases in salaries, led us to have larger staffing shortages than most. We went from having a public sector salary and public sector benefits, which are better, to having a public sector salary and private sector benefits, which means we lost people in every major field where we desperately needed them. We are seeing that turn around. Every time we have increased salaries from the Kentucky State Police to DJJ to corrections to others, we are now seeing more applications. In fact, I think I was told yesterday we had over 500 applications for our new KSP class, which is an enormous turnaround from about 3 years ago. We have made changes to our compensation for individuals working within this section, and we hope that it will have an impact and an impact soon. Now, I'm told that our group prioritized areas where they got complaints over the regular inspections. Listen, it's not okay to have the second largest backlog, and there probably needed to be a better balance there than what was selected. What's important at this moment is we acknowledge when we've had a shortcoming and we work to get it right. We work to make sure we have the staffing. We work to make sure we have the balance. It's not just complaints, but those regular checkups too. These are our seniors. These are vulnerable individuals, and it's our job in the state to do everything we can to protect them. So our job has to be to do better. And in terms of when it will be eliminated, it ought to be as soon as possible. All right. We'll be back, I believe, Wednesday of next week instead of Thursday. We'll get that new timeout. Everybody have a great weekend. Be careful in the heat.